All right, this session is going to deal with your OR time. OR time is very, very important because this is where you're going to get your intubations. All right, you have to have 4 intubations and 1 LMA in the OR. Here's the thing, intubations aren't like IVs. We're not going to get 100 of them in the field, and we don't do them all the time. And this is the one skill that we have that will not be realistically simulated on any of the simulators we have. It's just not the same. So what we're looking at here is if we go to our clinical requirements, all right, the so-called Bible, we're going to go down to skills, and you'll see that you have to successfully intubate 4 patients and have 1 alternative airway device. All right. You're also going to have to ventilate 20 patients. Now here's the thing, the bag valve mask ventilations and ventilating through an ET tube have very different compliance, very different techniques, and it's a very different experience. So if you ventilate a patient with a bag valve mask, then intubate, and then go back and ventilate through an ET tube, that is 1 oral tracheal intubation and 2 manual ventilations that you'll be logging, okay? So you have 4 intubations plus 1 alternative airway device. That's a total of 10 ventilations that you'll get just in the OR. All right, so make sure you're logging this correctly because a lot of people come to us at the end of class, shifts, skills. We're going back into our OR here. A lot of people come to us at the end of class and say that I don't have enough ventilations. This is something that you should be able to absolutely blow out of the park in OR. You'll get half of them done. Down here, it's not a typical ER clinical. Don't even worry about putting in patient information, okay? We're just going to go down and add quick skills. So let's say that we go into the OR and we get everything done on 1 shift. It's a fantastic day. We're going to go in. You perform this treatment because you manage the airway in the OR, okay? Your procedure is going to be a oral tracheal intubation. That is the one that is going to count for your 4 intubations. Let's say you put in a 7.5 tube and that it took you 1 time. Here's the thing, it has to be successful. It defaults to not successful. It has to be performed by you and it has to be successful. So make sure you do these sections correctly and that you manage the airway appropriately. Okay? Everything is oral tracheal intubation, size, attempts, successful, and you performed it correctly. It's all good? All right. Now, let's say we had very similar patients, and just for the sake of time, this is a little duplicate button. 2 squares on top of each other. You can duplicate the same skill. So I'm going to put in all 4 of my oral tracheal intubations, and let's say one of them took me twice. No big deal, but it was still successful, yes. Now as you can see, this one took 2 attempts right here on the top one, and every other one took 1. You can go in the same way and you can make adjustments to both tube size and hopefully they're all successful. If they're not successful, it's a great experience. You'll learn from it, but you will have to go back and you will have to do another successful intubation. Now, we're going to go in and we're going to enter in our LMA. Okay, so let's say we put in a LMA into this patient, call it a size 5. This one took you 1 attempt and that you were successful in managing this patient's airway. All right. You performed the treatment, it was successful, and this is going to be your LMA. All right, now we have 4 intubations and 1 LMA. All of our skills are done according to this line if we go back to our clinical rotations. All right, successfully intubate 4 patients and 1 alternative airway device. This is going to be our successful. Now we need to go in and add in our ventilations. You performed your manual ventilations, and we're going to come down here to manual ventilations. Yes, you were successful or you don't get credit. The patient required this intervention. That is correct. All right. So there's your manual ventilations. You can click this and you can enter in 10 different ventilations. All right. We won't do it right now, but just know that you can. Once you click in 10 ventilations, and your ventilations are going to be 1 prior to and then 1 after intubation. Okay? If you did it. If you don't do it, don't log it. But if you did ventilate before and after, go ahead and make sure you get credit for that. And then just like everything else, we're going to come up here. Yours will say lock. We're going to come up here and we're going to lock this shift. All right. Any other questions, please contact your lead instructor or look at the comments for any changes.